Hello there guys, welcome back to Blues Fans TV for another Premier League match preview of mine as Chelsea are to take on Burnley tomorrow afternoon on Saturday afternoon, with the kickoff being at 3 p.m. UK time. And you know, it's part two of a fairly easy run of games, to be honest. Now against Burnley after Krasnodar midweek, which Chelsea will just hopefully use to build up some momentum and rack in some good points. Of course, before getting into the rest of the video, be sure to subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already. That'd be massively appreciated. Also, make sure to drop a like. That'd be great. You know, always drop a like. Makes me happy. Cheers everyone up. And why not? That'd be bloody good. And of course, if you haven't already, also make sure to subscribe to my personal channel. That'd be massively appreciated. We're getting so close to 7,000 subscribers. So click the I button up there or the link in the description. Subscribe to my channel. There will be an in-depth analysis of every game the day after every game. So make sure you subscribe for that and tune in for that. That'd be massively appreciated. That's it. Let's just get into the video after just shouting out our sponsors very quickly. Do pre-order Football Manager 21 with the link down in the description. Get it early pretty much just for being a Chelsea fan and get 10% off using the code BluesFansTV. And also, if you want to order any of the new Chelsea kits, make sure you use the other link in the description below and use our code READY, which is active until Sunday for up to 30% off selected items. But enough waffle, and let's just get into the preview itself. And as usual, starting it off with the team news that Frank Lampard provided in his pre-match press conference, and it's actually for once all good news. Even Kepa is back in training after a shoulder problem. Not that it matters much, but, you know, hey, we don't want any of our players injured, do we? But everyone is fit and available, so, you know, no complaints from that side. So with that said, let's get into the team that I myself would field, and then the 11 that I'm predicting Frank Lampard to pick for tomorrow afternoon's game. And let's just get the obvious ones out of the way first. For my 11, of course, you will see it over on this side of the screen. Edouard Mendy in goal, obviously. 4 clean sheets in his first 5 games and just 1 goal conceded. Can't start much better than that, in all honesty. So him in goal. Thiago Silva comes back into the side at right centre-back. Kurt Zouma plays at left centre-back. I'll honestly be fuming if Antonio Rudiger starts over Zouma. And then Ben Chilwell at left-back. I think those 4 are just an absolute given. At right back, for me personally, I go with Reece James because he's a bit quicker but mainly stronger than Aspie, and I think against Burnley that's always something very useful, even though Aspie might be a bit better for headers, which, you know, is also a debate to be had. But I personally go for Reece James. Aspie played in midweek, and I think they both deserve, you know, almost equally amount of game time. So, you know, I would go for Reece James. And then, hey, I'm finally stopping the hypocrisy and actually will go for the formation I said all summer long is my favourite formation for our team. 4-3-3 with 1 DM and 2 attacking eights. One slightly more so than the other, but still. And I'm not saying this is the perfect formation by any means, especially because I don't think we have a perfect lone DM in our squad. But the 4-2-3-1 hasn't exactly been that great either, has it? And I would just like to see the 4-3-3 started in a game or two so that we can actually make a bit of a better judgment between the two. So N'Golo Kante will be my lone DM, almost obviously, I guess, because Jorginho and Kovacic are even less suited to that position than the Frenchman. And as for the attacking 8, on the left side, I'd have Mason Mount as a slightly more defensive 8 of the 3, I guess. And, you know, that's the position he's actually good at. The position that his work rate can actually be of the biggest benefit for the team, and the position he himself likes the most. And then to his right, Kai Havertz as the right-sided attacking number 8, if you will. Someone made a good point to me. I can't remember whether it was on Twitter. Follow me, by the way. Link to it is down in the description. Or in, you know, a comment of a video. I don't remember. But they said even when he does play as a proper 10, he drifts slightly wide to the right anyway. So arguably that 8, you know, right 8 position is kind of perfect for him anyway. He just needs to maybe work a little bit harder than as a basic number 8. But I think it could, you know, suit him incredibly well. Obviously, he'd have a little bit more freedom than Mason Mount on the other side. And I think that will be a pretty good setup. Coming to the front 3, on the left, he was rested in midweek, but then came on to have a huge impact on the game. Christian Pulisic. In my opinion, he has to start, returning to the place of his first and so far only hat-trick for Chelsea. So Christian, how about you do that again tomorrow? I think we'd all be in favour of that. I think we all would. And then on the right, if he, of course, is fit enough to start 2 games in a row, which is always, I guess, slightly uncertain after not playing, you know, competitive football since March until obviously the last game, or hasn't started a competitive game of football since March until the last game. I think Hakim Ziyech, you know, should start on the right because he more than proved how much of an asset he is to our team. So the guy has to start again, in my opinion. But maybe take him off a little bit sooner this time rather than having him on the pitch for 80 minutes. And then up front, obviously, I'd have Timo Werner. Although I do actually want to see a little bit more from him, to be honest. I want to see more runs in behind, if Burnley even allow that, obviously. And I want to see him demand the ball a bit more in the final third. It's been good in some games. Bad, maybe bad is an overstatement, but a lot of nothingness in other games. So I want to see a bit more from him in that aspect. But this is my team, and now coming to my predicted 11. And there is, one more thing from Frank Lampard's press conference that I would like to mention now, because he was asked if this type of 4-3-3 would be something he might use more going forward after it worked so well for the last 20 minutes against Krasnodar. And, I found his response actually rather interesting, because he said that it was always an option for us, but because we didn't really have pre-season and only, 6 days of actual training before the Premier League season started, we didn't actually have time to work out or try out or work on many different systems, which you usually do in your 5 to 6 or 7 pre-season games. But that the last 20 minutes against Krasnodar did answer a lot of questions for him that he had. And that makes me think, like myself, he will go for a 4-3-3 with 2 attacking 8s. And I actually think it will be nearly the exact same as the team I myself would field, but one change. You can now see both teams on screen, and as you can see, that one difference is Azpilicueta starting over Luis James in my predicted 11. I can't really give you a good reason for why I think Frank Lampard will do that. It's just my gut feeling. It really, really is. And, of course, playing in this different formation in some aspects requires slightly different things from the team. Firstly, it requires more concentration from pretty much the entire team, because when we lose the ball, we have a man less in midfield to stop counter-attacks, because usually in a double pivot, 4-2-3-1, you have 2 people in that position to kind of try to stop things. But not only does it require more concentration, it also requires an incredibly high work rate as well, particularly in the press, but also in terms of track and back, especially for the 2-8 and also the fullbacks, because it makes a big difference whether you just have that 1 DM or whether you have 2. Plus, the centre-backs really, really, really need to win the headers. We're playing Burnley after all. They will play long balls up to the striker. Against Spurs in the last game, they played 87 long balls. And because those headers can't always be perfectly directed, especially Kante needs to be properly on it in terms of winning second balls. Because if we win those second balls, will give us a much, much better chance of, first of all, being defensively secure, but also start our own attacks much, much sooner. And if we do those things and play attacking combination football like we did for the first and third goal on Wednesday, I believe we'll be absolutely fine, to be honest. Even against a tough opponent like Burnley. I guess with that, let's talk about them, because like I said, tough opponent, but from their 5 games played so far, they've only actually scored 1 point. So tough opponent, but really poor start to the season. Obviously that 1 point from 5 games means 1 draw and 4 losses, but they've simply not been very good for most of them. That 1 point came came from a 0-0 draw against West Brom, and arguably equally as bad is the fact that they've only scored 3 goals so far, and only 1 of them from open play. But I guess fair enough, they've only conceded 9, which is better than most teams around them, and the same amount as Chelsea actually. So defensively, they're still decent. The only problem is, for us, and why I'm saying they're such a tough and dangerous opponent, is that their last game, even though they lost 1-0 against Tottenham, was probably their best performance, and they seem to be slowly but surely improving. Because Spurs have been very, very good, especially up front in most games this season, but Burnley limited them to just 1 big chance and even had more shots on target than Tottenham did. So just because Burnley are just on 1 point, I don't want you to underestimate them at all. I'm sure the team won't. I'm 100% certain that the staff won't, the managing staff won't. But I also don't want the fans to underestimate them. This won't just be easy and we'll just brush them aside. It really, really won't. And one thing I will actually remember this time, because I didn't in the last preview I made ahead of Burnley, is the fact that the last few times we played them, not just the last one, the last couple times we played them, they did surprise me with quite a lot of pressing early on in both halves of the game, and then late on when they had nothing to lose anymore, which is the only thing I'm slightly worried about when playing a 4-3-3 with just 1 DM and Kante as kind of that defensive midfielder, I guess. Especially, if they do that late on and we already are in the lead, I wouldn't be mad at Frank bringing on Jorginho, maybe even Kovacic, but rather Jorginho and Giroud, so we can be more press resistant and when necessary also punt the ball long without necessarily losing the ball every time, which is kind of more often than not the case when we punt the ball long and Timo Werner is up front. So I wouldn't be upset with that, and I'm slightly worried with Kante if they do press us, but I hope he can figure it out if he does start in that position. And obviously overall we're the favourites, obviously. I mean, we should be the favourites as well, and like I said in the beginning, it's time to build some It's time to build some momentum. It's time to build on the 3 clean sheets in a row, and it's time to get a good win tomorrow and build those Premier League points up as well, because we need them. We really, really need them. We're only 10th right now. We're only 4 points off top, so it's not that far because it's very tight, and it's only 5 games played, 6 games for other teams. 6 games played, 5 games for other teams. But still, we need to get those points on the board, and therefore my score prediction is going to be a 2-0 win Again, I said that for the Krasnodar game, and we won 4-0, so I definitely won't be upset if that happens again. But, you know, 2-0 is still my prediction. But to be honest, guys, that has really been it from me. Like I said in the beginning, again, make sure you subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already. That'd be massively, massively appreciated. Help us reach 150k and then 200,000 subscribers. Along the way, drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you're excited for the game tomorrow. Leave me your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. Your predicted scoreline, your predicted lineup as well. And also, like I said in the beginning as well, make sure you subscribe to my personal channel if you haven't yet. That'd be massively appreciated. The I button up there, like I said, or link down in the description. Subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. But just to finish it off, I guess, let me shout out our sponsors one last time. Do pre-order Football Manager 21 with the link in the description. Get it early and get 10% off using the code BluesFansTV. And also, if you want to order any of the new Chelsea gear, make sure you use the other link down in the description and use our promo code READY for up to 30% off selected items. But yeah, that's been it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Very excited for the game tomorrow. And I'll see you when I see you.